Good afternoon. I am Debbie McKeever, owner and founder of Strong and Healthy Temple, a virtual holistic health and wellness practice. And it is another beautiful day here in Atlanta. Yesterday it was sunny and 70. I think today is going to be 70. The high is going to be 73. It'll probably feel like about 75. So it is an amazing day here in Atlanta. I hope it's warm where you are. Wanted to talk to you today, the fourth way of how to self-sabotage is not removing yourself from toxic environments and situations. And I had two personal examples that I wanted to share from myself. One is regarding a relationship, another is regarding my career in corporate America. And if the situation is toxic, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a job, if it's a hangout, if it's social media, if it's a significant other, if it's, some other family member, whatever the person, place, or thing is, you have to remove yourself because it will cause stress, chronic stress. It can cause major medical issues, including hypertension, which, of course, in layman terms is high blood pressure, that could lead to, other ailments, brain aneurysms from chronic stress and having your pressure become too high. So if you're in any kind of a toxic relationship, toxic situation, or toxic job, figure out a way to remove yourself from the situation. I know with a job, a lot of times it's not as easy. Like, you may need the money. So I'm not saying just run right out and quit your job. I did end up leaving corporate America, and I actually even wrote a book about it. This is a shameless plug and promo. This is my book, Surviving a Toxic Career, that I wrote back in 2016, just a few months before I officially resigned from the company that I worked for. This book chronicles, I was in corporate America for about 21 years, and this book actually chronicles the last 9 years of my career, specifically in the company that I worked for at that time. I do not call out the company that I worked for, but that's what this book is about. And again, it's called Surviving a Toxic Career, My Journey to the Life of My Dreams, and creating the career and life that I wanted for myself. And you can get the book from my website, www.debbiemckeever.com. And I'm going to, include the link in the comments. You can also pick it up on Amazon. And I'm also going to include a direct link to the book. Hint, I don't really make any money if you buy it from Amazon, but if that's your place of choice, by all means. Anyway, back to the subject. First example that I wanted to give was a toxic relationship that I was in back in my early 20s. And of course, this person, I had all kinds of red flags going off, but and I, the funny part is that I really wasn't interested in this person. So for the first time in my life, instead of listening to my gut, I was listening to other people. Oh, you need to stop being so picky. You need to put your guard down, and he's really a nice guy, and blah 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 blah. Anyway, long story short, he did, end up being everything that I thought. He wasn't abusive or anything like that, but he was what I like to consider an absolute relationship vampire. He was like a blood sucking leech that drained every strand of energy, out of my being. And so even after I broke up with him, foolishly, I still decided to maintain a friendship. And I have to tell you, calling it a friendship is, of course, an exaggeration. It was very one-sided, and it was all about him and his needs. He was very needy and a user and all those things. I don't want to get on a soapbox, but it was very toxic. And when I tell you that when I finally made the decision to cut that friendship cold turkey, my life made an immediate, and I mean an immediate, 180 turn for the better. Like, my life just, from the instant that I made the decision, everything turned around. The devil is in the details. So I won't, give all the details, but everything that was wrong went right just from disconnecting myself from a toxic individual. So it's so important to remove yourself from toxic people, toxic places, toxic things, toxic habits, whatever it is, remove yourself. And the next thing is the career. Again, I was in corporate America for over 21 years. The last 9 years, I made a lot of money, a lot of money, but it was to the point that I didn't want to wake up in the morning because I knew that I had to work. And I was a remote employee. Like, I wasn't even in the office. The person that I worked for was what I considered a narcissistic control freak. It was very toxic. It wasn't just me, in case you're wondering. And I do talk about that in the book. And, to skip to the end, before I left, our relationship had gotten so much better. Her management had gotten better. She, was still a little more hands on and, did a little more micromanaging than she should have. But again, it was just a very toxic environment that I should have removed myself from long before 9 years. But again, once I did finally remove myself from that situation, my life, I felt like a 2,000 pound elephant, have been removed from my shoulders. And there's two things that I wanted to read really quickly from the book as it relates to stress. And I do cite the link where I get this from. But the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, declared stress a hazard of the workplace. It costs the American industry more than $300 billion annually. It also states that 75 to 90% of all doctor's office visits are for stress-related ailments and complaints. That is a high percentage. And I know a lot of people my age and younger that do suffer from high blood pressure, not because of their diets, but because of stress. Stress kills. I cannot emphasize that enough. It is, although hypertension isn't really considered a chronic illness, it can lead to chronic symptoms. Like I said, one of the things that it could lead to is brain aneurysms, strokes, heart attacks, all that good stuff. Another thing that I wanted to share is a quote that I saw probably about 3 years before I officially resigned from that company and left corporate America for good. It was a quote from Tina Turner, and it's just so on point. It says, "Sometimes you have to let everything go. Purge yourself. If you are unhappy with anything, whatever is bringing you down, get rid of it. Because you will find that when you are free, your true creativity, your true self comes out." And that's absolutely the truth. I was listening to one of the people that I consider one of my mentors, like a business mentor, talk about how she was so stressed out in a toxic work environment that she landed in the hospital. And I know a lot of people that are that way. I was blessed that I'd never actually incurred any type of ailments from the stress. I was stressed mentally, but never any physical ailments that I suffered. I'm still not on any types of medications. I've always operated in optimal health, and I thank God for that. But there are a lot of people who ended up in the hospital on medications, all types of things, just from being in a stressful environment, whether that be in a stressful marriage or relationship with relatives, job, whatever it is, people suffering physical ailments. So if you don't want to self-sabotage, remove yourself from whatever is not bringing you joy, whatever it is that's not making you happy, stressing you out. figure out a way to get out of that situation and get out immediately. Anyway, that's a wrap for me, because I know I don't like to watch really long videos, so I don't really want to make a long video, like a hour long video, to make my point. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. You know what to do. If you don't like it, move on. Don't give it a thumbs down. Move on. But anyway, again, I will include the link to the book if you want to give it a read through, and make it a great day. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the sunshine. Thanks for listening.